Um, okay, let me be sure everybody can hear us. Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. On behalf of Augustana Alumni and Brecky Tours, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. We hope that after you um, listen to us today that you'll learn a little bit more about this exciting travel opportunity and that you'll be inspired to pack your bags and join us in Norway. We have a few things that we plan to cover today, including some general information on traveling in Norway and what to expect when you travel with Brecky Tours. Then we'll dive into other tour details and finally answer any questions that you may have about the trip. And so at the end, I'm going to go ahead and open it up to hear, so you can send in your chat questions down in the bottom right-hand corner. So if you just kind of want to hang on to those questions until the end, we'll open it up. And so before we get started, we'll do a quick introduction of our two presenters today. So Brad, I'm going to throw it over to you.
Well, thank you, Amanda. This is Brad Hegel, everybody. I delighted to be here with Amanda. She did all the work. All I get to do is sit and listen and smile. Um, if you don't know me, I was with Augustana for 43 years in a variety of different positions. Some of you I may have recruited as students, who knows, or I might have taken you on a tour with the Augustana Choir or the band, or a variety of different things. But I was delighted when I retired a few years ago to be asked to continue to do some of these international tours on behalf of the college and, excuse me, on behalf of the university. See what happens when you go away. And we had my first experience with Brecky was going to be the year that COVID hit. So we had actually 2 tours planned that year because we had about, almost 50 people that wanted to go. And of course, we were pushed back a year and then another year. But this will be our 3rd official Augustana tour to the beautiful country of Norway, and just delighted to have you along. And I can promise you, as a host, I'm the one that kind of continues to try to work the Augustana connection and get you to tell your favorite Augustana stories. And once in a while in the morning, I'll surprise you with singing the alma mater or the fight song just for kicks. But our official guide, who will be with us, is really the magnificent part of our tour, because we've always had just the best guides with us who make sure that everything goes swimmingly for us, and that things are perfect in the hotel and in the buses and wherever we go. We're treated first class all the way, and it's just an amazing experience. You know, I was Norwegian true and true, and my mother and father had been to Norway several times. I'd only popped in and out during my years at Augustana, but the first year that I did this tour, I was absolutely overwhelmed, and I continued to be so, with how incredibly beautiful this country is, and how proud I am of the fact that I have roots there, and can see Norway in a new way, a different way than my ancestors did. So I hope that'll be the same for you too. And I'm going to bow out, and in fact, bow out all the way, because I have grandkids to pick up from school, if you can believe that. I'm out here in New Jersey now, and we moved here a little bit ago from Washington State. So my time is still just sort of all messed up, but I do the school run in the afternoon, so I'm going to be leaving. But I really encourage you to give us some good thought. If you haven't registered yet, please do, and please join us. And I promise you, it's going to be 2 weeks of just the most wonderful experiences that you can imagine. And I worry about the weather, and I did really well last year, so I promise to do as well again this year. But Amanda, that's about all I have to say. But
Okay.
I'm anxious to hear what you have to say.
Well, thank you. Again, my name is Amanda Hancock, and I'm with Brecky Tours. So we look forward to introducing you all to our own favorite corner of the world, which is, of course, Scandinavia. So before we get kind of into more of the tour details, I'm just going to give you a little bit of information about Brecky Tours and why you might want to visit Norway. So first off, there's many reasons why you might want to visit Norway, but here's a few. The natural beauty and phenomena. You can find glaciers, fjords, mountains, forests, the midnight sun, the northern lights. All of these can be found in Norway and in Scandinavia. Norway has a truly rich history filled with Vikings, kings, queens, wars, great wealth, hardships, and so much more. Now, the culture of the Scandinavian countries are uniquely distinct, yet at the same time can be quite similar. Nature, family, education, and hard work are all highly valued by the folks living in Norway and throughout Scandinavia. Most Norwegians speak very good English, making it a very easy place to get around on your own. Speaking of which, public transportation in Scandinavia and Norway is very good. With buses, trains, and low cost flights to choose from, it's easy to get from point A to point B. And the food, you have fresh seafood, freshly baked bread, fresh fruit. These are all commonly found in Norway. And finally, Norway is a relatively safe destination. In fact, you may see babies sleeping in their strollers outside of shops and restaurants.
I have to kick in, Amanda. The food
Sure.
is not all white. It is not all white. It's very, very, very good. What they fed us here in Minneapolis and around there is just a lie. It's not at all like that.
Uh, so now I want to talk about more about Brekkie Tours and why you might want to travel with us. So we were founded in 1956 by Arnie Brekkie. He was a student from Norway, and he worked his way through graduate school in America by conducting tours in Europe. We are a family-owned company located in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and we're a full-service Scandinavian specialist with over 65 years of travel experience within Scandinavia. Our escorted tours and feature destinations that you won't find on other tours, and you won't find our tours anywhere else. Both our escorted tours and independent travel packages can be customized with side trips to visit areas of heritage. We can add pre or post tour extensions, or if we can't make that work, we can create a completely customized travel itinerary just for you. Now, while on our escorted tours, you don't have to worry about additional expenses for tours or other sightseeing activities. What you see on the itinerary is what is included. If you want to add a cruise or combine your trip to another country while you're overseas, that's not a problem. Our sales staff can help with those arrangements so that you only have one contact person for your entire vacation. And finally, when you travel with Brekkie Tours, you can be sure that you will be treated as a valued client, not just another body in a seat. Our goal is to make your travel experience meaningful, which means that we provide the best service that we possibly can from the first phone call until you return home from your trip. Now, to give you an idea of what you can expect during a typical day while on tour, I have a short summary. First, you'll start off with breakfast at the hotel. Usually it's a buffet, and the group will depart between 8:30 and 9, depending on what is scheduled for the day. We do include several stops throughout the day for food, bathroom breaks, and activities. And on board the bus, the tour director will keep the group entertained with information, songs, language lessons, and more. The group will arrive at the hotel in the evening, and usually there is a time for a walk, relaxation, or even a swim before dinner. Now, before the group goes their separate ways in the evening, the tour director will advise of the departure time for the next day. Now, our tour director will typically meet the group at the arriving airport in Norway and then stay with them until we arrive at the departing airport. Our tour directors hail from the US as well as Scandinavia, and English is the only language on tour. However, we do try to throw in a little bit of Norwegian so those that are inclined can learn some new words and phrases. We also have local guides that will join the group for short periods of time. They are there to provide detailed knowledge about a city, museum, or historical site. Now, while traveling on our escorted tour, you'll primarily get around by first class motor coach. Now, whether you're traveling on one of the larger buses or the smaller ones, you'll travel in comfort. They have large windows, reclining seats with footrest, and personal comfort controls for the AC. So you can just sit back and relax and let your professional driver get you from point A to point B. You'll also enjoy train rides and cruises along the fjords and waters of Scandinavia. Now we're going to dive in and take a little bit closer look at the tour that you've been invited to join in 2024. So this tour will start in Oslo, and then you'll travel through Norway's Telemark and Hardanger regions to Bergen. From there, you'll venture into the fjord country and then north to the Viking capital of Trondheim. So you'll depart the US on May 29th and arrive in Oslo on May 30th. Now, Friday morning starts out with a sightseeing tour of Oslo featuring Vigeland Sculpture Park. You'll spend some time wandering around the 200 bronze, granite, and wrought iron sculptures. These are all from the mind of Gustav Vigeland. And then you'll enjoy some other highlights around the city before you have the afternoon free to celebrate Viking Days. Now, this is the featured event of the evening will be held at Shuffle, where you can enjoy free appetizers and a cash bar.
And by the way, Shuffle is owned by an Augustana grad, and
Oh, fun.
that's why the committee has decided to go there. It's a family kind of a bar restaurant kind of fun place, and they
I looked at it online the other day. It's like a huge shuffleboard entertainment type place. It
yeah
looked like
yeah
it looked like it would be a lot of fun.
yeah, and
So
just
yeah,
walking distance from the hotel. It's just down the
yeah.
street.
Oh, nice.
You can stay as long as you want or not go or whatever. But yeah.
And then you have another full day in Oslo, and that's when you will have time to join some of the faculty and alumni on explorations around the city. If you have some free time and you want to explore on your own, I would recommend the Resistance Museum and Akershus Castle. Or if you're
Mhm.
interested in art, maybe visit the newly opened Munch Museum, and that might be something that you want to add to your must-see list. So, and then
Right.
in the evening, you've got an awards banquet that you'll get to attend.
Yeah, I should let you know too that I just there is a group from Augustana led by Don Grenager and Hosea from the alumni office, Mike Nitz from the communications area, who's one of our Norwegian scholars. They are working with a local committee in Oslo of alums to put together this kind of fun day and a half of activities, and they're going to be leading some hikes. They're going to be leading some museum tours. They're going to be doing all kinds of things. And then in the evening, we've got over 100 people registered, if you can believe that, to come to this banquet where we're going to celebrate Augustana and the Norwegian influence of Augustana. And they're going to be giving some alumni achievement awards to outstanding Norwegian grads. And so it should be just a lot of fun. I'm really, and President Stephanie Hersa Sandlin will be there. I think our new hockey coach is coming to do some recruiting as well. And a few other surprise people will probably be coming in from the States as well. So it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like a really fun day. So,
Yep,
and you can kind of pick and choose what works for you and what your interests are, which is really nice
exactly,
too.
exactly. And you'll have those details in plenty of time to make up your mind of what you want to do.
All right. So we'll move on to the next day, and this will actually be Sunday. And so you'll have the morning to attend the American Lutheran Church for Sunday service. And so I had to do a little research on this church because I'm like,
Mhm.
there's an American Lutheran Church in Oslo. Okay. So the church was built with the assistance of many Lutherans that were actually living in the Midwest, and they donated in memory of their Norwegian grandparents and parents who immigrated to the New World. So it's a really nice connection to those of us, living in the Midwest. So, and today the church actually serves members from over 30 different countries. So it's definitely a worldwide church now, which is pretty amazing that it started out with this little congregation and now they have members in 30 different countries. So, following the service, you will drive to the Telemark region of Norway, and here you'll tour the Hedal Stave Church, which is Norway's largest remaining stave church. So after a night in Rjukan, you'll pay a visit to Vimork. This is the hydroelectric plant where Nazis produced heavy water for their atomic bomb experiments during World War II. So between 1940 and 1944, a series of sabotage actions by the Norwegian resistance movement and the Allied bombing it ensured the destruction of the plant and the loss of the heavy water. And these operations knocked out the plant out of production in early 1943. So if anybody has seen the Heroes of Telemark, I think is the name of the movie. It's an older movie, but they might be familiar with that story. But it's really interesting. The museum is really fascinating there, so
There's some
should be
marvelous
interesting.
books out too about the resistance,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah,
So, following the tour of Vimmark, you'll continue to the Hardanger region, and this area of Norway is famous for its fruit orchards. And you'll be there hopefully in prime time because it'll be kind of that late spring, early summer. So, for those of you with interest in photography, this might be an ideal place to check out or to try out your photography skills. So, it's just really picturesque there with all the fruit blossoms and the trees and things like that, and of course the water. So.
I'm also told that this is the area of the country that Norwegians love to go
Mhm.
visit
Yeah,
and
yeah. So
vacation.
it is a really popular tourist destination just for
And,
Norwegians as well. Just, I mean, it's not hard to see why.
yeah, Amanda and friends, I'm so sorry I have to leave, but I got to go get my kids. But again, thank you so much for being a part of this. And Amanda's got a whole bunch more wonderful things to show you. If you have any questions that I can be of help to you, about anything at all, you can reach me very easily just by Hegel, my last name, Heegel, at augie.edu. Just send me an email and it's easy to remember. Hegel at augie.edu. They didn't kick me out. I still get to use the email. So God bless you all. Thank you so very much, Amanda. Keep
Yeah.
going. Get them
All right.
excited.
All right.
Thank you
I
so
will try.
much. All right.
Thanks. Thanks, Brad.
Bye bye.
So we'll continue on. On day 7, you're going to start the morning off with a drive across the Hardanger Fjord on the new Hardanger Bridge. And this is en route to Bergen. Now, before you arrive in Bergen, though, you'll stop and enjoy lunch at a local fruit farm at Hardanger. So hopefully it'll be a nice chance to get out and stretch your legs. Maybe there'll be some cute little lambs running around like this. That would be nice. After a relaxing night at your city center hotel in Bergen, you'll have a morning walking tour with a local guide. You'll learn about the area's history and its importance as part of the Hanseatic League's trading empire during the 14th to mid 16th century. So there's a lot of history in Bergen to cover, and you'll learn a lot about that on your walking tour. Now, on day 9, you'll depart Bergen by motor coach to Voss. Here, you'll board the Oslo Bergen Railway and you'll travel by train to the mountaintop station of Myrdal. This is where the day really gets fun. You'll board the famous Flum Railway, and on the hour-long ride down the valley, you'll pass through 20 tunnels, most of which were excavated by hand, and there's even a horseshoe-shaped tunnel that spirals in and out of the mountains. So the views are just fantastic, and it's really a lot of fun going into the tunnel and then coming out and seeing something completely different. So I always enjoy this train ride. It's always a lot of fun. Now, from Flum, you'll cruise on the Ireland and the Sogne Fjord to Balestrand. It's here that you'll have dinner and an overnight at the historic Kviknes Hotel. So it's right here on the water that you can see. It's this lovely building here, and then part of the hotel is this other building here in the back. But it's right on the water. It has some really lovely views of the Sogne Fjord. So probably one of my favorite hotels in Norway. Now, day 10 starts with a drive from Balestrand to Skei. Now, if you haven't purchased any souvenirs to date on your trip, that's fine. You're going to stop at Otthild Vikens, and then you're gonna have the chance to pick up any and all kinds of Norwegian souvenirs. So if you've been saving your souvenir money, here's where you're going to want to spend it. Um, if shopping is not really your thing, they do have a cafe there, so you can enjoy a cup of coffee and a snack. So that's nice. And then you're going to continue on to Brixton Glacier. You're going to take a ride on the troll cart where you can stop to take some pictures and feel the cool glacier waters before you hop back on the bus and continue on to Loen. Now, the next day, it's going to start off with a cruise on the Geiranger Fjord. You can enjoy a cup of coffee as you cruise past small mountain farms clinging to the cliffs and some of Norway's most famous waterfalls, including the Seven Sisters and Bridal Veil. Then you'll travel the famous Trolls Path from Geiranger. Trollstigen is internationally known as a feat of engineering, with some areas featuring the road carved into stone or into the mountain itself. It has 11 hairpin bends and offers stunning views along the way. You're going to drive on to Molde. With its temperate climate, Molde became a tourist hotspot and featured an idyllic township with quaint wooden houses, lush gardens, and parks. It's earned the nickname City of Roses. After World War II, during which two-thirds of the town was destroyed, Molde was rebuilt to become a modern city. It encompasses farming and fisheries to industrial production, banking, higher education, and of course, tourism. Now, day 12 continues your journey north to Trondheim. First, you're going to drive along the Atlantic Ocean Road, which was opened in 1989. The route won the title Norwegian Construction of the Century and was awarded by the Norwegian construction industry in 2005. It is one of 18 national tourist routes in Norway. You're going to arrive at the fishing village of Bud, where you'll enjoy lunch and a visit to Irgenkiss Fort. This is a German coastal fort built during the war years of 1940 to 1945. Today, it serves as a war memorial museum and features exhibitions of local and regional events from World War II. Now, after lunch, you'll drive on to Trondheim, where you'll spend the last 2 nights. Your last full day in Norway begins with a sightseeing tour of Trondheim, featuring the Nidaros Cathedral. Nidaros is one of the world's northernmost Gothic medieval cathedrals, and inside you can marvel at the stained glass windows, the towering arches, and the famous Wagner organ. Only one of which there's this one is actually there's 5 left, and so this is the one in Norway. The other 4 are all in Berlin. So if you've never been to Germany or don't really plan to go to Germany, you can actually see this Wagner organ here, and it is spectacular. So after the sightseeing tour, you're free to explore the city on your own. You may wish to walk through the old town for a bite to eat at one of the famous cafes. You could visit the Ringva Museum, which is filled with a variety of historical musical instruments. Or if something is more modern is to your style, check out the Rockheim Museum, and it's dedicated to Norway's popular music. So just to recap some of the things that the tour includes. So round trip airfare from Minneapolis, St. Paul. You have 12 hotel nights, daily breakfast at the hotels. You'll have 1 lunch and 10 dinners. Sightseeing in Oslo, Bergen, and Trondheim is included with the local guide. You'll have an excursion by the troll cart to the Brixel Glacier. You also have visits to the Hidal Stave Church, Norwegian Industrial Museum, which is Vimmark, Ergen Kisfort, and Nidaros Cathedral. And most of the time you'll have luggage handling at the hotels along with the tour director. So that will be with you from the time you arrive in Norway until you depart. So we did have some questions that were submitted on the registration form. So I just wanted to talk about those real quick, and then I'll open it up for any other questions that you may have. The first one was, what clothing should I pack? And that's probably our number one question. So we always recommend to people to bring clothing that you can layer. So temperatures in Norway can range from the 50s to 70s during the day, but will depend on where you are. So mountains and areas near water are usually cooler. Casual clothing is the norm for our escorted tours, and you'll want to bring good walking shoes. You'll also want to bring a jacket and perhaps a raincoat, as it can be chilly in the mornings and evenings. Other things you may want to pack include an umbrella or poncho, snacks, medications, including over-the-counter medications like aspirin, sunscreen, and a small day pack where you can store your sweaters, a water bottle, and your snack. So the next question was for additional cost. So we do include all of your breakfast and most dinners during your trip. So lunches, however, are usually left up to you. You can expect to spend 5 to 15 for a lunch in Norway. However, if you eat a large breakfast and bring a snack with you and eat a decent dinner, really you won't really need lunch that often. Other expenses are usually of a personal nature, such as laundry or drinks at dinner. Gratuities for your driver and guides would also be another example. I always recommend to clients to bring a bag of snacks with you on your trip. So, trail mix, energy bars, chips, things like that. You can also pack an empty water bottle. The tap water in Norway is perfectly safe to drink, and you can save $2 to $3 on a bottle of water just by refilling your own each day before you leave the hotel. And then on the way home, you can use that bag to store your souvenirs. Stopover and extension options. So if you'd like to add a little bit more time in Norway or want to, have a stopover in Iceland, that's something that we are happy to help you with. So more information on these options can be found on our website, or if you have something in particular that you would like more information about, you can contact our office and we'll be happy to offer some suggestions and maybe talk some options over with you. And then, can we fly from somewhere other than Minneapolis? Of course. So if you live outside the Minneapolis area and want to fly from your home city, that's not a problem. We're happy to assist with that. So just if you'd like to send us an email, we'd be happy to give you a quote on flights from other cities. So now I'm going to go ahead and open up the chat. So once I figure out how to do that, there we go. Okay, so if you have any questions, there is a type your message down in the bottom right hand corner. And please feel free to send me questions that you may have about the tour. I'd be happy to answer those. So, and then I'm going to bring up just in case you do have questions that you think of later, because that is usually how I work. I always think of something about 10 minutes after I need to. Feel free to contact us. So we've got our email up there, tours@breckytours.com. You can also visit our website. And then, of course, our 800 number is up there. Kevin, you'd ask if we need to get Norwegian currency for the trip. Most places, you'll find that credit cards, especially Visa and MasterCard, are widely accepted. And a lot of times, cash is not even, some vendors won't even accept cash, which is just kind of crazy to me, but nobody asked me. So usually what I do when I travel to Norway is that I wait once I get to the arrival airport, I'll go to the ATM and get maybe a couple $100 out. And so when the money dispenses from the ATM, it'll be in kroner. So that way I have a couple $100 worth of kroner on hand, and that can be used for, small purchases. And if I need to give somebody a tip or something like that, I can do that. So that would be my recommendation. And our tour directors can help you with that once you arrive in Norway as well. There are some banks here in the US that can exchange money for you before you travel. It would just be something you'd have to check with your bank ahead of time to see if that's something that they can do for you. But otherwise, I mean, credit cards, like I said, Visa and MasterCard, widely accepted. The biggest thing to remember is that you will want to advise your credit card company that you are traveling outside the US, so they don't put a fraud hold on your card. So that's the biggest thing that we always tell clients to do. All right. Any other questions? That was a good question. Good question. Well, if we have anybody that's thinking about something, in the meantime, if you are interested in joining Augustana, we do have some important dates coming up. So March 4th is the date that we have to give unused airline seats back to the airlines. So if you are thinking about registering, we would ask that maybe you contact us before March 4th so that we can make sure and get you a seat on the flights from Minneapolis. Now, if you're not planning to fly with the group from Minneapolis and you're planning to do your own airfare, then that's fine. You still have plenty of time to sign up, but I just want to flag that March 4th date because we have to release those seats back to the airlines on that date. So do we need special phone service? So if you would like to get an international plan for your cell phone, that is something that you can check with your carrier, whether it be Verizon or AT&T, whoever your carrier is, to see how much that plan would be. Because sometimes they do like a monthly rate, and it may not be that expensive. Otherwise, there's lots of apps that you can download to your phone, be it Apple or Android, that you can use Wi-Fi to make calls. So, for instance, I have an Apple phone, so FaceTime, you can use Wi-Fi to call home using FaceTime, and Wi-Fi is readily available um, at the hotels, and then you should also have it on your bus as well. So, so you really shouldn't need an international plan unless you just absolutely want a little bit more capabilities while you're traveling. So, but that would be something to check with your carrier. But otherwise, I would check out some of the voice over IP type apps. FaceTime, WhatsApp, I think is the other one, and then I'm not sure what it is for Android. To be honest, I'm sorry, but something similar. What date do we need to make our final payment? Oh, that's a good question. Let me see if I can find that for you. It would be 90 days before you depart. I do know that much, but I don't know the exact date. So let's see. The exact date would be uh, the final payment due date would actually be the end of this month. So, so if you haven't gotten a notification from us on that, yeah, you should be getting that pretty soon. Um, but if you were just now signing up and you need a little bit more time to make that final payment, please let us know, and we can, try to help you with that. So, um, if we have any other questions, I'm happy to answer those. I do want to bring up one more slide. So um, this is, of course, Geiranger. So something you'll get to visit. You can see trolls digging out there in the back. Um, but if nobody has any other questions, or like I said, if you think of something later, please feel free to reach out to us. You can also reach out to Brad. Let me go back and get his email just in case you have questions on that. So there's our contact information for both of us. If you do have questions that you think of later, or you just want clarification on something, please don't hesitate to reach out to either of us. We'd be happy to help you. And but if nobody has any other questions, um, I'll go ahead and end the webinar. And thank you all for joining us today on behalf of Augustana Alumni and Brecky Tours. We do appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen and hopefully learn a little bit more about this tour. And we hope that you can join us in Norway for this really special trip coming up in just a couple of months. So it'll be here really, really soon. So thank you all again, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.